There you go. There you go. Let's turn this down. Let's just turn it down. Calm down. Relax your body. Now, just before I start recording this video, literally just before I start, listen, I don't understand why people are going on Twitter and waiting for the information to see if Perez is going to get a penalty. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Didn't you watch last season? Didn't you watch the 2021 season? Where every decision, once the FIA or the steward, as soon as they say, we're going to investigate it after, when it's Red Bull, 99 point, actually forget it, 100% of the time, Red Bull's not going to get pinched. It's never going to happen. So I don't know why people was waiting on Twitter and saying, you know what, Perez, he might get a penalty. Even the Ferrari guy says, oh, Perez should get reprimanded. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. Because Red Bull are a paid shill. No, actually, the FIA stewards are a paid shill from Red Bull standard. Trust me. It's never going to happen. Look at Max Verstappen when he passed the safety car, when he passed Lando Norris under the safety car today. Did he even get a warning? Did he even get, oh, we're going to look at the situation? Never. Easy. It's very simple. When it comes to Red Bull, they'll get away with it. And as F1 fans, you should know this by now. Now, today, Singapore, Grand Prix, Singapore, it was a disaster. A disaster from a Mercedes point. Now, look, we all know that George Russell, he took an engine penalty. They announced that today before the race. He had to take a new engine. He's whole new unit. So it's his fourth power unit. So we had to start from the back of the grid. Okay, fair enough. But Lewis Hamilton was in third place. Third. I'm not sure if he was he must have been sleeping today. Lewis Hamilton. Sleeping. Because he made two mistakes. Locked up when he was chasing Sainz. And he locked up when Max Verstappen was behind him and he was trying to pass Vettel. How long does it take to pass Sebastian Vettel? You are in a Mercedes. Sebastian Vettel is in an Aston Martin. No disrespect to Aston Martin, but the Mercedes is a far superior car than Aston Martin. Far superior. So I don't understand why it took so long for Hamilton to pass Vettel. Why? And then what happened? He locked up. He locks up and that was his race, game over. He hit the barrier. And I thought, as soon as I saw him hit that barrier, when he hit the barrier, when he had that first lock up against Sainz, when Hamilton had that lock up, I thought he was out of the race. I saw the car into the barrier and I thought, this guy is gone. He crashed in the same place where Jamie Chadwick crashed today. Jamie Chadwick, a Formula driver, gonna be a Formula driver. World champion 2 years in a row. WC champion, WSC champion. And it's gonna be hopefully a 3-time world champion in a row. He crashed the same place where she crashed today, Lewis Hamilton. He just wasn't at the races. He looked like he didn't sleep last night. He came out and he said, look, all this positive stuff that he always does. You know, Lewis Hamilton, he comes out with all the positive rhetoric. And which is good. It's good to be positive. But sometimes you have to be real. When's the last time you saw Lewis Hamilton make these mistakes? Ever, like in a season? 2 in 1 race. This is unheard of for Lewis Hamilton. Was he feeling pressure from Max Verstappen from behind? I don't think so. He knew Max Verstappen had the fastest car, but I think it was Vettel. It was frustrating him. We know that Singapore is not one of the best tracks to overtake. We know this. We know this. And it showed today. Max Verstappen even made a mistake. So yeah, if you're thinking, oh, Max doesn't make mistakes, he makes a lot of mistakes. He made a mistake today. lunging, and then he ended up locking up, lunging his car, and he flat spotted his tyres, and he came into the pits. And when Max Verstappen came into the pits, came back out, but he was still going through the crowd. At one time, I thought that Gasly, Tsunoda, Lando Norris, it seems like they just opened the door for him to drive past. That's what it seemed like to me. And what is it with Nicholas Latifi? What is it with Nicholas Latifi? It's the same suspects every year, every race. It's the same suspects with DNFs. Nicholas Latifi, Tsunoda, and Juan Yu. Guaranteed. 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 It's always them three. Unbelievable. It was a decent, for me, it was a good race. A lot of people are saying online now, it was a boring race. I thought it was okay. It wasn't the best race of the season, and it wasn't the worst race of the season. For me, it was okay. I got a few notes here on my phone. I'm going to go through it with you. A few notes. Right. Now, lights out of the way we go. As soon as it starts, Lewis Hamilton goes wide. He goes a little bit wide. So, he got jumped at the beginning by Sainz. So, we went from third place to fourth instantly. Instant. So, I thought it's going to be one of these races. Lewis Hamilton was struggling for grip. I got to admit, he was struggling for grip. So, lap 8, safety car come out. Latifi hitting the barrier, like I talked about earlier. Nicholas Latifi. It was an okay race. Out of 10, I'd say about 6, maybe 5.5. Race day, lights out, the way we go. Lights out, and away we go. Lewis Hamilton got jumped by Sainz at the beginning, because Lewis Hamilton was in third place and Sainz was in fourth place. Sainz got the better getaway, and that's really unheard of for Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is usually one of the best guys to get ahead of the race, but at the start, I mean, and today it just wasn't to be. Like I said earlier, Lewis Hamilton wasn't at the races today. It wasn't at the races. It was still in bed. Lap 1, Max lost 4 places, which really I was actually happy about. If Max loses 10 places, I'll be happy. If Max loses 15 places, I'll be happy. If Max Verstappen had a DNF, I'd throw a fucking party. But he lost 4 places. But I knew he was going to catch back for the car he's driving. The car he's driving, I knew he was going to catch back. Guaranteed standard. Lap 8, safety car come out because of Latifi. I told you earlier about Latifi. Latifi, this guy, right, I've said this. Look, if you follow me on my channel, I more or less say this nearly every other video. Nicholas Latifi should be exited from Formula 1. Exited, and I'd love to do it personally. I'd like to come down in my car, fly me over, just call Mercedes, I can fly me over. I walk into the paddock and I say, Nicholas Latifi, get out. Get out. Go work in your dad's coffee factory. That's all you're good for. You're not supposed to be in Formula 1. There's so many talented drivers out there, and you're only there because of your dad's coffee. Very simple. Because of the family business. I know drivers personally would out-qualify you and beat you in a race. Personally, I know him. Younger than you as well. Not even 16. I know people that would jump in the car and beat you in a Formula 1 car. Hands down. Just get out. We do not want you in Formula 1. But you're going to get the idiots, aren't you? You're going to get these ones, the do-gooders. Oh, Nicholas Latifi's talented. I feel sorry for Nicholas Latifi. No. 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 I am not going to feel sorry for Nicholas Latifi. Millionaire Nicholas Latifi, born with a silver spoon. I'm not going to feel sorry for... You know what? I'm not even going to feel sorry for a Formula 1 driver. I'm sure when he goes home and when he looks at his bank balance, it's a lot bigger than yours. So relax your body. So now you had George Russell. George Russell lunged at Bottas. George Russell, he was a bit frustrated, obviously being at the back with the engine penalty, like I talked about it earlier. He lunged at Bottas, but it was on the border of getting a penalty. I don't think they investigated, to be fair. I'm not sure, but he was on the he lunged at Bottas, put it that way. So he reminded me of I think it was Imola a couple of years ago. Lap 10 safety car. Now the safety car come out. Obviously the safety come out. The safety car come out because of Nicholas Latifi. Lap 10, the safety car ended. And then not long after, there was a virtual safety car because Alonso was absolutely defending for his life. Max Verstappen was trying for at least 7 laps to pass Alonso, and he weren't having it. Alonso is like a brick wall. To me, Alonso is the best defender in Formula 1. That's even over Lewis Hamilton. I don't give a crap what anybody says. I know it's going to hurt a lot of Lewis Hamilton fans out there, and I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan myself, but I'm also a realist. Alonso, he's got the best defence. He showed it at Hungary last year, and he showed it today. He had Max Verstappen couldn't get past him, and just like Lewis Hamilton couldn't get past him. It took him 12 laps to get past him in Hungary last year, 2021 Hungary. So Alonso done a good job there, but the only thing with Alonso, his car broke down. He had the engine, breakage. So that's not really looking good for Alpine in the constructors, because at the moment you've got Alonso, obviously Alpine, and then you've got a McLaren fighting for the constructors titles, and having a DNF is not really good for Alpine. And it was a shame for Alonso, because Alonso is one of my favourite drivers on the grid, and I really wanted him to do well here. I think there was a chance for him to get good points for Alpine, but it just weren't happening for him, and I was sorry for him, you know, in that way. I know, you know, I'm not sorry for him like these marks will say annoying, but I just felt sorry for him because he's done so good, and his car just let him down. But at the end of the day, it's not his fault. So another virtual car came out at lap 25 because Albon lost his front wing. Albon, there you go. There's another one. That's another geek, yeah, that always gets a DNF. Albon. So Albon got changed his front wing. He came into the pits. He didn't stop his car because that's what it was, a virtual safety car. But he came back to the pits. They went to change his nose, and they found out that his car was terminal. So he had to end it, and that's it. So lap 28, Ocon had an engine failure. So that's Alpine both out. So lap 28, that was another engine failure for Alpine. So Otmar, he's got to be stressing now. Otmar, he was in a prime position to beat McLaren in the constructors. They would have been 4th in the constructors. Very good points for Alpine. They was riding high. They were both doing good, and they both got double DNFs, Alonso and Ocon. So that was a shame for Alpine. So lap 28, I told you that. Lap 30, virtual safety car ended. And Max Verstappen, which he didn't even get a penalty for, he didn't even get a warning, he didn't even get an investigation, passed Lando Norris on the virtual safety car. Just as the virtual safety car was ending, he speeded up, he applied on the throttle, and he passed Lando Norris. And Lando Norris said himself that was very dangerous, and he didn't even get a warning, nothing. He didn't even. Usually the FIA, the stewards, they'll look at the incident, and he didn't even get that. Nothing. They said, don't worry about it. You're Max Verstappen. He can slide. But we all know how it goes. Just remember last year, 2021. Lap 33, whatever was it? Lap 33, Lewis Hamilton lunged at Sainz. He was getting frustrated, chasing Sainz for the entire race. Well, for nearly half of the race. And he went to lunge at Sainz, and he hit that barrier, like I said earlier. It's the same barrier where Jamie Chadwick hit, and he lost his nose. I thought this is a DNF right now. He paused for a bit in the car. He slowly reversed the car out the barrier, and he carried on back to the pitch because his nose, half of it was falling off. He had Max Verstappen behind him because he gained on him, because Lewis was way ahead of Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. But obviously when he went into the wall, Lando Norris passed him, and Max tried to pass him, but Lewis got in between Max and Lando Norris. And all you heard on the radio from Max Verstappen is, look, this guy needs to get into the garage. He's got stuff hanging on his car, which I agree with part of it. The way he was explaining it is like his whole car was falling to bits, and it wasn't. It was just a little bit of debris on the front of his nose. But you know how Red Bull play when it comes to Lewis Hamilton. But anyway, Lewis Hamilton went into the pit, changed the nose and changed his tyres. And as soon as he pitted, what happened? Red Bull pitted the lap after, came in, put the nice fresh tyres on, came out in front of Lewis Hamilton, because they knew Lewis Hamilton was going to lose time because of changing the nose. That's very, very crafty Red Bull. So, George got a puncher. So it's gone from bad to worse for Mercedes. George gets a puncher. Put my glasses on. George gets a puncher. So he comes into the pits. Changes his tyres. Puts the medium tyres on. So George Russell was really one of the first drivers to try the slicks, because everybody was on the intermediate tyres and the track was drying up. And at these points I was thinking, why isn't there DRS? Why isn't there DRS? You can actually use DRS while you got the inters on. The track was bone dry. Bone dry. But for some reason, they never put the DRS on. That was a failure from the stewards and the FIA. Failed. I was getting frustrated. I was thinking, look, I understand at the beginning of the race, you had the water. I know you can't have DRS when you got lots of water everywhere. But the track was bone dry. And they still refused to put the DRS owner. Refused. So Russell came into the pits to put the medium tyres on, or medium or soft. He came out the pits and it looked like he was going to go into the barrier. The tyres were cold. We all know when it comes to Mercedes, tyre warm-up is not their best. It takes them about 2 to 3 laps for the tyres to come alive. That's just the way the car is. So Russell comes out. He lost 5 seconds in the first 2 laps. But as the third lap came in, as I mentioned just now, it takes a few laps to warm up. He started clocking in fastest sectors. And at that point, in my opinion, that's when they should have pitted Lewis. But they didn't. They waited. What was they waiting for? Was he waiting for a phone call? Was he waiting for a phone call from his mum? Was he waiting for a phone call from Amazon to say that his parcel's coming late? Was he waiting for his dinner? Was he waiting for his mum to call his dinner? What was they waiting for? Literally at this point, I was going red as a beetroot. I was shouting at the TV, pit! 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 I'm surprised I didn't put my foot through the TV. Standard procedure. Pit. This is before everybody started pitting for the slicks. Russell was the measuring stick. The measuring stick. He came in, he put the tyres on, and it was working. Why did they pit Lewis? Why did they leave Lewis out of them tyres? And you know what? Why did Lewis say to Bono, what you doing? Pit me? Russell's pitted, and it's working for Russell. Pit me? But with Lewis, he has to wait for the data. He has to wait for them. No! Do what Ayrton Senna. Ayrton Senna's your idol. Copy him. You come in when you feel like you want to come in. You're in the car, not them. I don't care how much data they've got. I don't care how much computers they've got. I don't care how much strategies they've got. You're in the car. You're in the car. So you know. So what happened? They didn't pit him, and I thought there was a mistake again. Because the Mercedes strategy at this point is getting like Ferraris. Horseshit. That's the way Mercedes are going. You remember back in the day when Mercedes had the best strategy? There wasn't a blemish on their record. Absolutely perfect. Perfect, spot on. Grade A, perfect. You remember when they never made no mistakes? And as soon as last season come, they started to make mistakes. This season I've made a few mistakes. And I was thinking, you know what? Sort yourself out, man. Sort yourself out. Now, at this point, Lewis he locked up again. He locked up when Max Verstappen was chasing him, and he was frustrated with Vettel. So his car was going bad to worse. I remember when they said, "Look, we're gonna have to pit you again." Russell when he put the medium tyres on. Russell said, "If you pit me, I'm gonna retire from the race." Very simple. At least Russell shows authority. At least Russell shows authority. Just look, I don't know what Russell did in Hungary, but at the end of the day, he said he wanted the soft tyres, and they got him the soft tyres. He said to the team, bring out the soft tyres. They brought out the soft tyres when I was in Hungary. When Hamilton got left out in front, and Hamilton said, why didn't you pick me? Or they said, why didn't you pick Russell? At least Russell made the decision. He made a decision. Hamilton seems like he's just relying on Bono for everything. I've got to rely on the data. He put the medium tyres on. They said, oh, it was the wrong tyres. If you feel like they were the wrong tyres, why did you put them on? He should have said, no. I don't want the medium tyres. I want the soft tyres when everybody started coming for their dry tyres. He said, oh, you put the wrong tyres on. It should have been the soft tyres. It's too late now. There's no point of mounding at Bono. You've got to make the decision. You are Lewis Hamilton. You're an 8-time world champion. You're the greatest in your era. Probably one of the greatest of all time. Bar none. If you just put Senna in there and Schumacher, you're up there with all of them. Why didn't you just say to Bono, no, put the soft tyres on, I don't want the medium, and it would have been alright. But you never. You let him put the medium tyres, and after he started moaning, saying it was the wrong tyres, but then the negative kicked in, and then you couldn't pass Vettel, and everything was a complete and utter mess. So, that's it, man. Charles, and at one point I thought, look, Charles Leclerc. I thought Charles was going to win this race at one point when he was chasing Perez. Perez looked like he was struggling with his car for a bit. He come on the radio and he said, look, the rear of my car is not turning correctly. Because it looked like every time Perez hit that corner, his back end was slipping and it looked like he was losing traction in his back end. So, they must have adjusted his car, Red Bull. They must have adjusted his car and said, look, we've got it sorted. They must have put the brake balance, the rear brake balance more to the rear to get more control of the car. And that's probably what they did. You know, they can do it all on the computer now. But after that, Perez kept it stable. To be fair, Perez, he done his job. He didn't flake. He didn't really lock up. He didn't really make no mistakes. Charles was charging at him for at least 15 laps. And he got close. And within the DRS zone, because finally they did activate the DRS zone. And Perez done his job. He got the win. And he won. And that's it. He won the race. Charles didn't win the race. And he tried his best. But that's it, man. All it takes now, if Perez finishes out, I think this is the way it goes now. They was talking about it after the race. If Perez finishes outside the top two and Max wins the race, Perez can't catch him. And Charles Leclerc, if Charles Leclerc wins the race and Max Verstappen finishes outside, or if Max wins the race and Charles Leclerc comes second, you have to wait till USA. But let's face it, forget all that complicated bull crap. All that bollocks, what does it mean? Nothing. What it boils down to, Red Bull and Max Verstappen are going to win a double title this year. Max Verstappen's going to be crowned world champion, and for the first time, and Red Bull's going to win the constructors. Simple. So it's going to be a double header, which I called this weeks ago, and that's it. World champion Max Verstappen and constructors Red Bull world champions. Done. And we're still going to wait. I think it's Wednesday. We're talking about this, the cost cap, what's going to become an investigation. I don't want to hold my breath for that either. We all know that Red Bulls probably broke the rules. And even when they publish it and they said that Red Bulls broke the rules, and the rules state very clearly, if they break the rules, the points have to be reducted, or the points have to be taken off them from the previous season if they've gone over the cost cap in a lot, over 10 or 15%. Which people are saying they have. Even if when that comes in, the FIA and the stewards, the FIA will bend it to suit Red Bull. They'll probably say, look, we're going to give you a fine of $500,000 or $1 million, which is absolutely nothing to Red Bull. Nothing. And that's all they're going to do. They'll probably say, we'll take your winter testing away. Partly your winter testing or your aero upgrades for next year. But they will not take the points off Max Verstappen where he loses the championship from last year are guaranteed, even though the rules state that that's what's supposed to happen. F1, the FIA will bend their rules. Money talks and bullshit walks, and that's how it's going to always be in F1. And if it does happen like that, they're going to lose so many fans. We all know that F1 has got no credibility. They're hanging by the skin of their teeth. They are the F1. They got no credibility whatsoever. They went to America last year and begged America to get the fans. Begged. Hoop Media, they went there and they goes, you know what, we're going to get these American fans. They begged them. They got all the celebrities. How much do you think they paid Jordan? to say what he said last year at Miami. How much this year actually? How much you reckon they paid Jordan? How much you reckon they paid all these celebrities and these American footballers to say what they said? Oh, we watch Formula One. We all watch Formula One. Bullshit. You don't care about Formula One. You've just been paid to say that so it looks good on TV and everyone can bring in the revenue. I'm not stupid. And the true fan knows this. Because that Miami race was horseshit. Absolutely horseshit. And who was the band? They had the band that had the F1 show in America and Miami. They had these bands. Who were they? Nobody knew who they were. Probably just dragged them off the street. Probably buskers. The ones that you see in the street playing the guitar like that. Oh, can I have some money, please? That's what they look like. Who were they? I guarantee they paid Jordan 50 million just to say what he said. We need a big celebrity. We need the best. We're going to have Jordan that's paying $50 million just to say that he loves F1. Guaranteed. Just to get the contract in America because they desperately need America because they've got no credibility whatsoever in F1 and they showed that in Abu Dhabi last year, as you well know it. So, this is Solo P1. Solo P1. You know the drill. You know the drill. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the follow. I'm on TikTok. I'm on everything now. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram, but if you want to listen to my podcast, I'm on Spotify. I'm on iTunes. I'm on Stitcher. I'm on Apple iTunes. And I'm on Amazon Music as well. So it's Solo P1 F1 Reviews. Look out for the logo. You'll see it. So you can listen to my podcast through audio as well. So if you don't want to sit at home and watch my ugly face on YouTube, you can always go on the podcast like iTunes and Spotify and do whatever you want to do. Listen to me there. But hit the like button. Leave a good review on iTunes. Because if you leave a good review on iTunes, it butts me up in the charts. And that's it, man. That's Solo P1 signing out. We got one of my favourite tracks in less than a week coming up, Suzuka. My 3 favourite tracks, Silverstone, Spa, Suzuka, done. They were the best. They're the 3 best tracks ever in Formula 1. And Suzuka is going to be coming up in less than a week. The only track, far as I know, that has never ever been altered on the F1 calendar out of the old school tracks. And it's an amazing track. It's high altitude, not so much high altitude. It's got them big bends, high curbs, fast. It's a bit like Silverstone, a proper driver's track. If they asked all the drivers a few weeks ago who's your favourite tracks, they said Spa, they said Suzuka, they said Silverstone, they said Monza. Monza, I don't really like Monza. I don't really care for Monza at all. A lot of people say Monaco as well. I don't like Monaco either. But my three favourite tracks are Spa, Suzuka, Silverstone. And Suzuka is coming up in 6 days' time, and I cannot. Actually, it's 5 days now. I can include the practice on Friday. Absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. So, hit me up on social media. There's all my YouTube coming up now. You got my YouTube, you got my Twitch, you got my Spotify. That's it. I'm signing out, man. Look out for us, Flaming Tarmac. I'll be recording, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. I'll be uploading the Flaming Tarmac. So look out for that on my YouTube channel. So this is Solo P1 signing out. See you later, guys. Bye.